We're supposedly recording. Ba-da-da-da. Fucking watching Monday Night Football here in the background while Daniel Jones continues to prove why he's not a starting QB. What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 3, I believe, of Pick Your Poison. Is this episode 3 or episode 4?
I think it's episode 3, but who gives a shit? The Dolphins won a football game this week!
You don't get to celebrate that because you said the Jets were going to win. I get to celebrate that because I want it to be known right now that I'm the god of picks because I not only picked the Baltimore Ravens to beat the New England Patriots, I also picked the Miami Dolphins to beat the New York Jets.
I get to be happy as a fan. I don't care about the pick, unfortunately, as much as I care about the team winning. Dolphins won a football game. We're still the worst in the league, but we won a fucking game before the Bengals. I'm really happy.
Who's the Jets QB? Darnold?
Sam Darnold. Yeah,
Sam Darnold. You know, I've been making fun of y'all's QB.
Yeah, Josh Rosen.
For looking lost. I was mistaken. The Jets QB is way more lost than y'all could ever hope to be. When he came off the field after that friggin' borderline safety, and the only reason it wasn't a safety is because it rolled out of the end of the end zone.
Well, no, that still was a safety.
Oh, you're right. That is still a safety.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking. I don't know why I was thinking that, but
you thought it was a touchback. I know.
Touchback, yeah. But he, thanks for saving me.
Yep.
But it was just like what. Like, he got to the sidelines, and he was like, why is that my fault? It's like, because you did nothing when the ball... Like, first of all, you played off the cadence. The center did everything right. Everyone in the line snapped at the same time. The only one who wasn't ready for the snap was the one guy who needed to be, and that was you. So,
like, and if
well
nothing
done.
else, like, that was... I was dumbfounded at that whole game. Like, that's the most complete of a game that the Dolphins have ever played.
That bypasses the Bucs the week before... flaming each other in the rotation on their own offensive line and taking out the ball runner. I think that's worse because it's even worse when the QB can't even put together the idea of, I need to catch the ball here. Like, damn, bro.
I'm just glad to know the Dolphins aren't going to go undefeated. Or, I'm just glad to know they're not going to go winless. Is what
go winless, yeah. I was about to say.
Yeah, they've already gone undefeated.
It's a little late.
Yeah.
There's no saving it now, boys. So first game of week 10 for this episode of Pick Your Poison is a surprise winner from last week, the Chargers up against the Raiders.
Game's in Oakland, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter with these two.
Well, no, you're right. With the way the Raiders have been looking, especially with Josh Jacobs running the football, he's looking fantastic on the ground.
The Raiders the Raiders are terrible through the air, but along the ground they're fine. Unfortunately, if they run into a good defense, which weirdly enough, LA looked like a good defense against Green Bay.
Especially against Green Bay.
So, because I really expected, I'm not saying I expected Green Bay to blow them out, but I really, and I think it was a combination of two things. I think it was a combination of Green Bay kind of just sucking, and I think it was a combination of LA in a way just putting it together. Yeah, like
I think if I'm taking a pick, like I said, Josh Jacobs is looking fantastic. He's off to a great start for a rookie running back. I don't think the Raiders are going to have enough to stop that Charger offense, though. Melvin Gordon's finally looking like he's finding his stride. Austin Eckler's lining up as a wide receiver 98% of the time as a running back, which makes no sense to me.
But if he's getting receptions, he's getting receptions.
I know, right? As a running back.
That was the funny thing, right? When I was looking at his stats and I was like, it said like 28-yard reception. I was like, wait, what? Like... He's supposed to just take handoffs.
I watched that game. Eckler lined up in the slot as a wide receiver more than he did as a running back. His hands are so good for a running back. It's really interesting.
Well, they were talking about there was somebody who plays for Baltimore, and we'll get to that, I guess, with the Ravens game against the Bengals. But I can't remember his name, and this is so bad. But I've watched a lot of football this weekend and a lot of hockey, so I have a lot of names in my head right now. But he originally was a running back. Got a couple injuries, and his dad, who I guess was also a really good tackle in his time, told him, he was like, you should go to defense and play defensive tackle because you'll get a lot more action and you won't be injured as much. And the dude is like one of the best tackles in the league. I can't remember his name though. I know they said his dad played though. You know who I'm talking about though, right? Like, I can see him from last night, but I can't remember him to save my life.
Like, honestly, I kind of can't. I don't know anything about that story, to be honest.
Let me see. They were just talking about it on the broadcast. I actually listen to them sometimes.
Gotcha. But no, like, it's I
I
just
would
think
go with the
Chargers
Chargers here. I just think the Chargers are a more complete team than the Oakland Raiders are.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, their offense is looking to be running on all cylinders. If their defense steps up this week against the Raiders, like they did against the Packers this past week, the Raiders don't really stand a chance. So I'm going to take the Chargers here.
Yeah. Was it Humphrey? I don't think it was Humphrey. Okay, whatever.
We'll worry about it later.
We'll worry about it later. I'm going to say right now, that was not a completion. I'm going to say right now, the defeated Giants who just lost to the Cowboys, a team that, if I'm incorrect from what I saw pregame, a team that the Giants seem to be incapable of beating. The Giants are going to lose to the Cowboys here right now, Monday Night Football. They have the Jets next week. I think the Giants win that game, though.
I'm going to have to go with the Giants there as well.
And it's not like a case of, like, I think the Giants are going to smoke the Jets. But I go back to what I said this week against the Jets against the damn Dolphins. They are just right now so in their own head and so in their own way, they can't stop themselves from losing games.
I mean, it seems to be that fashion. The only win they have is against what looks to be a decent Cowboys team, and that's with the way football is. It's any given Sunday, but
that really is. If you look at because I think I brought that up on the podcast too, which is going to change formats anyway. But the thing with the Jets, the Cowboys is one team in the last 5 years. I've beaten them 4 out of those 5 years. So even while the Jets have been slowly dying a death, that's a downward spiral. For some reason, they just always have the Cowboys number. But I think we see that all the time because I was talking with a Saints fan earlier today, and I might be incorrect in saying this, but they have the Falcons this week, and everybody's like, it's a pushover game. But the Falcons are one of those teams where it's like they, for some reason, always seem to get the Saints goat for whatever reason. Like, even when they shouldn't.
The Falcons are just a weird team altogether. Like, yeah. I mean, they've got a hellacious offense, but there's just no defense in Atlanta right now. So it's the Jets at the Giants, right?
The Giants are at the Jets, New York.
Giants are at the Jets.
The Jets are
Battle of New York.
It's got to be the Giants, though. Like
I would have to say the Giants just for the simple fact of they have one more win than the Jets.
And also, watching this game right now, like we're both watching it in 2 different locations, though.
Right.
I mean, just like, again, we can say that Daniel Jones is not the solution. He gets points on the board, though.
He does.
That guy got smoked. Saquon Barkley just receives everything that comes into his neighborhood. So somebody even said that.
What's up next?
What's up next is the Falcons at the Saints. So that game we were just talking about, and I think the Saints are going to win this one hands down.
Yeah.
I know I just made a big argument about how the Falcons are one of those teams that just always have, but the Saints this year are just a juggernaut in their area.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Saints. Drew Brees is going to have a field day in that Falcons.
Kamara will be healthy again. Thomas has been performing amazing this year. Those two are going to be unstoppable by that Falcons defense.
Oh, Rhett Ellison, you cannot drop that football. Goodness gracious. All right, so Saints probably very handedly beat the Falcons. Next game up?
Next game up is the Chiefs at the Titans.
I feel really bad for that Titans secondary. Patrick Mahomes is going to be back, and he's going to be throwing lasers.
Can we I just want to throw something out there really quick because I'm going to agree with you. I think the Chiefs are going to smoke them.
Absolutely.
Moore did an amazing job as a second-string QB.
Yes, he did.
Like,
Moore came in and did his job the way
because
he was supposed to.
Somebody in my fantasy league picked him up, and people were like, what are you doing? He's just a second string. If you had him in fantasy these last 3 weeks, you probably look like a goddamn genius. Because he threw 3 really good games for a backup QB, including getting wins.
Granted, I got to watch Matt Moore in Miami. He did not make for a good – he was not a good quarterback in Miami, backup or starter. He had to start that playoff game. I think it was in 2016 against the Ravens, I think, and just got absolutely dominated. The only difference between Matt Moore then and Matt Moore now is that Matt Moore has an offensive genius in Andy Reid, and anybody, in my opinion, I think can perform well in Andy Reid's offense. But
I don't disagree with that.
Matt Moore has performed fantastic as Patrick Mahomes' backup, and I think that Andy Reid now has a good, consistent second-string quarterback that he can look at come week 16 or week 17 when the Chiefs have already clinch their division, because we know that that's going to happen.
The Chiefs went from a team that looked good with Mahomes at the helm, and when he got injured, I know a lot of people were like, this is, this is going to derail the season.
Right.
Now with Matt Moore in the lineup, they look like one of the most secure lineups in the NFL.
Yeah, because if Mahomes happens to go down again, you have a guy in Matt Moore who has shown that he can consistently take snaps at the next level and make good throws at the next level. But I fully think the Chiefs blow out the Titans. I'm gonna say like 42-28 or something.
What do you think is the Titans' solution going forward here?
Because
they've got to do something, and it's I think it starts at the QB office. But I mean,
I don't think it starts at the QB office. I think Ryan Tannehill. I got to watch a lot of that game.
But that's
live.
what I'm saying is like the issue I've seen is, and I might be misreading this, but I've seen a lot of tweets out of the organization that don't fully secure Tannehill as like the going forward QB. Like they still want Mariota to come back and make it work.
No, see, from what I've seen, I think you're reading that differently than what I'm seeing. I got to watch a lot.
And
of
it
that
may
game
just be
live.
we're having such a bad season. It's like we're just not going to commit to Dick right now, which I can respect. I can respect that.
I think the thing the Titans need to focus on first and foremost is getting receivers that can catch the football. Ryan Tannehill, I think, had 2 interceptions against the Panthers this past week. I know one of those came off a drop from A.J. Brown, who it hit him dead square in the hands, right in the middle of the chest.
Yeah, I remember. I watched the highlights from that game, and that was
he was
sucks
like,
for Tannehill to watch that.
But no, I think the Dolphins. I think the Titans had like 5 or 6 drop passes. That's got to change because you allow yourself to take easy drops like that, and you kill the whole offense and its whole mentality.
Yeah, because you kill also your QB's confidence.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna be scared to throw the ball because he's like, is it even gonna matter? Are they gonna drop it and it's gonna be recovered? Like,
right?
Am I just handing a turnover to the other team at this point? Which would frustrate me. Don't get me wrong. So game up after that is the Ravens at the Bengals. I think the Ravens win this game.
Ravens. Moving on.
They already showed they can beat a really good team in the Patriots, although the Patriots did not play their best game ever. Tom Brady had a bad game. I have no other way to put that. Tom Brady played poorly.
Tom Brady had a bad game, but I think the Patriots as a whole, I don't think they played a bad game. I just think the Ravens played the best game.
The Ravens also, I mean, just watching it, the Ravens obviously did a lot of tape on the Patriots, and it seemed to be they were always a step ahead of the Patriots. They almost knew what play was being called because it was like at one point, Edelman went for a shift, and before he started his shift, the Ravens defender started his, and I was like, "Wow, okay, what a prediction right there!" Like,
yeah, I don't think the Patriots played that bad of a game. Like I said, I think
it goes. You see some of those tweets people were making; they're not wrong. The Titans had not played what I would consider a strong NFL playoff team until they met the Ravens this week, and it showed.
The Patriots.
The Patriots hadn't. Yeah, you're right. The Patriots had not played. Yeah, sorry. The Patriots had not played a super strong playoff team until now, and it showed because in a way I think they came in kind of fat, dumb, and happy, and the Ravens were like, "You'll earn it," and I think that kind of showed in this game.
Buffet.
Dude, fucking me after Wendy's. All right,
so, yeah,
Bills.
Ravens
Definitely. Have we agreed on? We've agreed on every single game so far.
So far, yeah.
All right, Bills at the Browns. Bills.
I've got to take the Bills here. Josh Allen is
He's getting more and more confident behind the line.
He's getting more and more confident, and he's finally starting to not turn the football over, and that is great to see.
Watching him just this last game, it started a little rough. He was not as fast out of the gate as he'd been in previous weeks.
Right.
But he showed a maturity he's lacked in previous situations where he dug himself out of the hole, and kind of like what we're watching right now on a Monday Night Football with the Dak Prescott, you know what I mean? It's that's what I want from a starting QB. It's not you're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. I don't have an issue with that.
I mean, Dak Prescott's first pass of the game was picked off.
He literally threw an interception on his first down of the game.
First pass of the game picked off.
And at this point, you're listening to us talk about this right now. They are leading 30-18. So obviously, he didn't take it to heart. Josh Allen. It's late. Josh Allen has shown that ability now. Where it's like, I started out bad, first quarter's over, we play a quarter at a time, and we do what we have to do. We play it down at a time. And I think that's putting the Bills in such a good situation going forward.
I agree. I think the Bills are just looking too good right now. Baker Mayfield may wake up feeling dangerous. The only thing is that...
Well, he looked like the dude from Home Alone in that post-game press conference, dude. That was a rough look. That picture's
that
going to
Browns
be in the video.
defense-
I'm going to find that picture tomorrow and put it in this video.
Yeah, that Browns defense is just not looking good. So yeah, I'm gonna take the
The
Bills.
Browns
on this
offense
one.
isn't looking that good.
Well, no, but I mean, I'd like to give the Browns offense a little bit of doubt or a little bit of credit. The defense, not so much.
Well, Baker Mayfield, though, these last couple of weeks has just been not home. Like, I don't have any other way to describe it. He's just not there. Like, and I don't know if it's a disagreement, if it's a mental game issue, which it very well could be. But damn, bro, they got to figure something out.
I'm trying to pull up his numbers now from the from his last couple weeks just to see how bad it's been. Let's see, 270.
Well, we watched the Patriots game where he literally just handed the ball to the defensive lineman and was like, "You take this." Like, that's pretty bad in its own right.
Now, in that Seattle game in which he had 249 passing yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions, 2 of those interceptions I firmly believe were not his fault. They were tipped up in the air by his receivers who weren't able to catch the football and fell into the Seahawks defenders' hands. But I mean, overall, I think the Browns offense has a better chance of performing than the Browns defense does. That defense is just not showing up the way it's supposed to.
But unfortunately, the Bills offense has showed up every game they've played. So
yeah, except for the Patriots.
Except for the Patriots. But doesn't. I don't know. I think they were almost shell-shocked in that situation. Like, I think the Bills got a little shell-shocked. All right. Next game up, Cardinals at the Buccaneers. I'm
going to take the Buccaneers in this.
I'm going to take the Buccaneers, too. The Buccaneers showed some new level of life last week. And
yeah,
I don't,
especially against the Seahawks.
Now, Russell Wilson's MVP status was secured because he muscled them through that game. But,
dude, Russell Wilson's looking like an MVP more and more every single week.
Somebody was joking that he only looks like an MVP QB because a lot of the QBs around him a lot of the QBs that would have qualified for it have been injured in and out of the lineup. And I was like, you're not wrong, but also the dude has like hit every pass he's attempted. So also part of the argument. I take the Bucs too because I think it's not that the Cardinals are inconsistent, but they're not consistently good enough to put up a lot of points. And the Buccaneers games have been games where you have to put up a bunch of points. Their games, for some reason, they inspire the other team's defense to stop playing as well as their own. And that's impressive. So I think the Buccaneers probably win this game.
I mean, Jameis Winston is finally looking like he's not going to turn the football over. I say that, and he's probably going to have another 6 turnover day. But I mean, him and Mike Evans are on a tear right now. And if Mike Evans fails, then you've always got Chris Godwin in the slot lined up with him. So, I got to take the Bears here just because Jameis Winston's actually looking like a good QB for once.
He really is.
So,
that was weird last week. I was like, I don't think this is the same guy. I think they left his jersey in the locker room, and this other guy showed up and was like, let's do it. All right, next game up, Lions, Bears. I don't hate the Lions. Don't get me wrong. I think this is going to be a close game, but
see, I think it is finally time for me to
admit that Trubisky's done.
I think it's finally time for me to admit that the Bears are not winning the NFC North, and it saddens me to say that.
But that doesn't mean they're going to lose every game they have remaining.
Well, no, you're right. But I've given Trubisky 2 solid weeks of him returning, and both weeks he has been not. He's not been there.
Didn't they have? Wasn't it through like the third quarter last week they had -1 yards or something like that? Like. He had some. They had some horrific stat.
Yeah, through the first, I want to say it was like through the third quarter, like starting like I can't remember what it was.
I can tell you right. Let me go find it. Keep talking.
But no, I think that it's time for the Bears to give up on Mitchell Trubisky, and I hate to say that because I really have put my faith in Mitchell Trubisky, and he just hasn't shown up the way he was supposed to, and it's very sad to see. So, you said Bears, right? You said the Bears were going to win this game?
Yeah, don't ask me why. Okay, so first downs against the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears had 2 first downs. They had 0 passing first downs, 1 rushing first down, 1 first down involving a penalty. Third down efficiency, they were 0 for 6. They were 0 and 0 on fourth down efficiency. For 20 total plays, their total yards were 9. Total drives 6. Yards per play 0.4.
Yeah, I found the tweet from Greg Rosenthal here.
I went to Big Cat from Barstool because I know he's a Bears fan, and I was like, he's gonna have something to say. So I just went back to his media and scrolled.
Quote, and I quote: "The Bears late in the second quarter, 1 offensive yard, 56 penalty yards. Good God,
That's
that's bad."
that's really bad. Dak
I
Prescott's trying to
think
stop his.
I think I'm going to have to take the Lions.
I'll take the Bears just so we don't go equal on every single game.
I mean,
But I think this
Matthew Stafford's looked great. I mean, Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones Jr. like a fantastic 1-2 combination at wide receiver. Lions just have too much firepower.
This might sound really weird, and I think we're kind of the way we're beating around the bush. I think this game's a toss-up. I think enough mistakes can be made on either side to let the other team win. And I think, in my opinion, I think the Bears might just accidentally pull it out. But I do agree with you that the Bears are coming to a decision point here with Trubisky. I think they're coming. It's either got to be this week or next week or at the end of the season. But it's going to cost them the season if they don't make a decision soon enough.
I mean, I think it's safe to say their season's pretty much almost. I think it's almost done with.
Yeah,
because
the most important games they've lost have been to division players, haven't it? It's not just like they've lost outside division games. Because that was the thing with the Cowboys is they're now still ahead of the Eagles because while they lost a bunch of games, they didn't lose any to in-division foes. So that put them ahead anyway. Okay, so next game after that one, after the Lions-Bears toss-up, is your Miami Dolphins versus the Indianapolis Colts.
Colts going to win that football game.
Colts are going to win that football game. You had your glory. You had your week. It's over now.
We look fantastic. I just got news today that Preston Williams is out for the rest of the year after suffering that knee injury.
I did see that too. That makes me kind of glad I dropped him off. I dropped him off my fantasy before last week because I just knew I wasn't going to play him. Right. He just was holding a roster spot, and then I saw that, and I was like, all right.
You can't trust any Dolphins.
I felt less bad about dropping him, but I still felt a little bit bad about dropping him. Because what's crazy is if I had kept him for this week, though, even after the knee injury, he still had a good week in that game. Like, it was still a good week, but it just cost him everything.
Yeah, you just can't trust the Dolphins right now. Yeah, we had the best game of our year against the Jets, and it's just it's about to come falling back down. I mean, the Dolphins are on fire right now. I mean, we've won our only game of the season. We couldn't be riding high.
Can you imagine?
I do not see us beating the Colts.
You want to talk about opposite situations? You guys won a game, and Dolphins fans were losing their shit. Definitely saw a video of a Patriots fan at the end of last night's game crying because they lost their first game of the season. Yeah. Talk about living in opposite worlds.
In the same division.
In the same division, living in completely opposite worlds. You guys won one game. You would have thought y'all won the fucking Super Bowl. Fucking the Patriots lost one game. They feel acting like they're not going to make the playoffs now.
We just didn't want to become the 2008 Detroit Lions. And we're already going to because our point differential is still at like a negative 154, I think it is.
I was like, y'all got shut out 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's through the first, I want to say it's through the first 8 games? Yeah.
Yeah, because you've had your bye week, haven't you?
Yeah, through the first 8 games, we are we have like a negative 154 point differential. The next closest team, if I'm not mistaken, is the 86 Colts at like a negative 100 on the nose, I think it is. So we are still god awful.
We just have one win.
We just accidentally won a game.
And what's funny is your point differential won't be much better because I don't think you blew out the Jets either. So
no, we only won by 8.
So yeah, it's not like it helped you differential at all. All right, next game after that is the Panthers at the Packers. I'm just gonna say I think the Packers rebound and get the win over the Panthers.
See,
I think last week's game was a fluke, and I don't just mean that. I think the Chargers played a good game. Don't get me wrong, but Aaron Rodgers was definitely out of his element. I don't know how to describe that, but just watching him on the field, he looked rushed all the time, which was also because of the Chargers defense. They played an exceedingly aggressive defense, which I think you have to do against those kind of QBs. I think Mahomes is another example. I think Breeze is another example. You know what I mean? Like, those QBs, you have to get in their face. Because, like, a Jones, like we just watched, you can give him all day and he might still screw up the play. But if you're going to play against a long-throwing QB, which Rodgers is the king of long throws, you got to get in his face and take that option away. So, I think the Packers win this game.
See, I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna go out and take the Panthers. They looked good against Tennessee.
They did look good against Tennessee.
Christian McCaffrey is turning into honestly, he's number 2 on my MVP list right now, just behind Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson's just Russell Wilson. At the beginning of the year, I was saying that Ezekiel Elliott was the best running back in the NFL in terms of his overall abilities. Christian McCaffrey's taken over that top spot. He's something else, man. Having
Has
him
he
on my
factored into like every single touchdown they've thrown this year?
No, he hasn't been that he hasn't had that much
It
responsibility.
just seems like it some weeks though.
Yeah, no, he's just been that consistent week in and week out, except for his week 2 showing against the Bucks. But
do it. Go ahead.
I just it's unbelievable to see what he's doing at the running back position. I haven't seen anybody do something like this since I think like Sean Alexander's 2007 season.
Do you
which
think?
Was a hell of a season.
All right. Well, I have a question for you at the end of the show.
All right.
That we're gonna go over really quick. All right. Game after that. So I said Packers. You said Panthers. So we've started to deviate. Actually, no, we really didn't. We disagreed on the Lions, and we disagreed on the Lions, Bears. We disagreed on the Panthers, Packers. But we agreed the Colts are going to smoke y'all next week.
Yes.
Next game up, Rams, Steelers. Steelers. It's in Pittsburgh. It's the Rams at the Steelers. I think the Steelers win that game.
I'm going to have to agree with you. The Steelers are looking decent.
Rudolph had a really strong week last week. Like, he looked good.
Yeah.
That was some stud shit out there by him. And, like, after the game, like, the way they celebrated, I was like, that's a team. That's something we haven't seen from the Steelers in the last couple of years. I think it might have to do with he who must not be named, Antonio Brown, looking at you. They look like they have fun playing together. And that's kind of refreshing from a Steelers lineup. Because I think for a long time, the Steelers lineup looked just mad at each other the whole time.
Yeah, but no, I don't want to, but I feel like the Steelers are just going to be able to pull this game out.
All right, game after that is the Vikings at the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys win that game. It's in Dallas.
See, this is the game that I am still undecided on. Dalvin Cook is running over everything that moves up in Minnesota.
I think, Kirk Cousins, right? So Kirk Cousins last week, I watched the Chiefs-Vikings game, which I'm glad I did. It was the game of the week last week, definitely. Especially because it came down to a field goal. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins had a decent game, but he was not the difference maker in that game for the Vikings. Like,
you don't think so?
I think Moore outplayed Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had a lot of rough moments where it was like he didn't – I know I say this a lot, but he looked just out of his element. And I don't know if that's – I mean, Kansas City's a tough place to play. It's a loud arena. You know, that's a really good fans. Now, there was a lot of Vikings fans there, too, because apparently the Minnesota Vikings used to play their fucking summer league games there. It's a whole fucking thing. But I just think the Cowboys win that game.
I mean, I thought Cousins looked really good against Kansas City, but that's just me. I mean, he threw for 220 yards and had 3 touchdowns.
Okay, I guess how I would rephrase it then is he did not look like a QB that I think can beat the Cowboys defense. Because we just watched the Giants get stopped 3 times at the goal line to be forced into field goals, which made the difference in that game. The Cowboys defense, while it has not been the best defense it could be, especially with the names they have on it, they're starting to grow and get better and better together, and I think the Vikings are going to meet them at a very bad time.
I'm undecided. Dalvin Cook looks great.
You have to make a choice. We're keeping score.
Dak Prescott is looking great. Amari Cooper's looking great. Ezekiel Elliott's looking like a top 3 running back in the league.
Side note, Pollard got some – shout out to the Memphis Tigers. Pollard got some yards tonight. He did have a bit of a goopsie at the beginning where the kickoff, he like – I don't know. Like, I don't know if he was trying to call fair.
No one cares about the Memphis Tigers, Josh.
No, but like he caused a screw up that led to that first interception, arguably, because he, I guess, didn't call for fair catch, but thought he did, and then stepped out of bounds, and they ended up getting the ball on like the 19-yard line. So he kind of screwed the Cowboys at their first possession. That doesn't take blame off of Dak Prescott for throwing the most laced pick in the history of the NFL. Like, it looked like that giant was the receiver. Like, in the hands, point-blank range. What up, bud?
I've
just pick the Vikings so we have different records. You like Kirk Cousins, admit it. You're a Kirk Cousins fanboy.
I'm really not. He looked great against Kansas City. I'm gonna pick the Cowboys, but it's gonna be very.
All
I think
right.
the Cowboys just find a way to pull it out.
Last game of the week. Seahawks at the 49ers. This is going to be a really good game. If I had to pick a game to watch this week, it would be the Seahawks at the 49ers.
It's gonna be the Monday night game. I'm gonna say.
I'm going to say 49ers. And I can explain why. And it's not a great explanation. But I think the 49ers defense has been more consistent than Seattle's defense has been. And while Russell Wilson is lacing passes, I don't think he can put up enough to get past the 49ers defense enough to stop them. And the Seattle Seahawks defense, I do not think is good enough to face up to the 49ers offense.
Well, see, I'm going to pick the Seahawks just because when you've got the best quarterback in the league in Russell Wilson.
And you know what's funny is I don't disagree with that at all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't disagree with that at all.
At this point in time, Russell Wilson's looking like the best QB in the league. And when you've got that on your team, anything is possible. Shout out to the Patriots for the last, 18 years. Sorry, that's the Dolphins bullshit. I apologize. I'm going to say the Seahawks just for the simple fact of Russell Wilson is a playmaker and playmakers find ways to win games.
I think that's going to be one of two things. I think the 49ers either I don't want to regret saying this. I think the 49ers either blow them out and give the Seahawks something to think about, or it's a close game. But I do not think the Seahawks blow the 49ers out. I don't think that's possible the other way.
Gotcha.
I don't think that's doable. It's just the Seahawks defense, in my opinion, has not been steady enough to face up and shut down the 49ers. Because the 49ers have been super good offensively. And defensively, they've been great too. I mean, what was their score this week? 49ers beat the Cardinals 28-25. Never mind. I'll shut up. But I don't know. So do you still think the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders?
Yes.
Because I do, yeah.
I've still got the Patriots and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
I think that could still be it. The only team I could see throwing a wrench in the whole thing is the Saints. I think the Saints could throw a wrench in the whole thing. If they start to get consistent now, they're going to be tough to stop. If they get a roll going, because I think there's still going to be questions in the Cowboys. Because it's not the Cowboys defense that's the question. The Cowboys offensive line is, I believe, the highest paid offensive line in the NFL.
It is. I think 37% of their total salary.
I actually know the number because they just showed it on the screen right here. I think it's 33.1%. But same thing.
There you go.
I only know that because they literally just showed it. But I already knew they were the highest paid offensive line in football.
According to Pro Football Focus, Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFL. That's according to their grading. I trust Pro Football Focus with my life. I feel like you guys should too. They're a great website. You should get a chance to check them out whenever you get a chance.
I agree with that. I think the reason Russell Wilson gets a lot of credit is he hasn't shown – I don't know. We haven't seen him in a bad game yet, if that makes sense. Like, Prescott's had some bad games. I think the Jets game is a good example. I think arguably the first quarter of this game against the Giants is a good example. We haven't seen Russell Wilson just have a completely out-of-it game.
Well, some would say that that's the true sign of an MVP.
That's what I'm saying is like that's what I think keeps Dak Prescott out of that is he's had bad games.
Right.
What I'm saying is like the reason Russell Wilson is still in that conversation was we haven't seen Russell Wilson fall apart yet.
Right.
Which could still happen. Let's be clear. That could very much happen. That could happen to anybody. Tom Brady just lost to the Ravens because they also just were really good on the plays. But I mean, he also just did not look confident on the ball, which I never thought I would say this season about Tom Brady. But
no, if we're talking Super Bowl predictions right now, it's gonna be my pick is the New England Patriots, the Dallas Cowboys.
Did you say the Patriots over the Cowboys, or did you say the Patriots and the Cowboys?
I just said the Patriots against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to pick a winner yet because now the whole
no.
If I had to pick a team that's not the Patriots to beat the Patriots, or that's not the Ravens to beat the Patriots, because that's what we can say right now, I would honestly pick the Dallas Cowboys. They're a big team, and I think they just are able to shut people down. But again, I go back to the Saints, dude. Like,
well, they've got the Patriots week 12, so
we'll find out.
Yeah,
that could be a big preview.
That could be a preview of what's to come in February, right?
Week 14. Yeah, they literally just put the fucking Cowboys schedule up on the TV. Alrighty, so that's going to end our Week 10 prediction of Pick Your Poison. This is going to be the new format. Really quickly, we'll just talk about that. This is currently in prep because, Sydney, next week, as we alluded to in a video that we released Monday morning, you are moving to Florida.
Yep.
To be closer to your Miami Dolphins. That's not true, but it's funny. So, this will be the way we do it.
The more I can help them.
Good news for you guys. While it will be more audio focused because we're doing this via an online call, I will be doing more graphics, and I'm gonna get more of a bit better layout. So I'm gonna do a screen layout instead of our usual just videos with the scores above our heads and stuff. Oh, there'll be updated scores at the beginning of this video as well. So if you didn't see those, go back and check them out. I'll put them up on the screen right now as well. Because I may accidentally be in the lead because I picked the 2 upsets of the week.
Possibly.
Although I think we both had the early game last week went against us. And did I pick the Vikings over the Chiefs? I don't know. I'll get those stats. Sydney, you can get those stats sorted out for me tomorrow.
Yeah, and then, I know. I picked the Vikings if Matt was starting, and So I think you picked the Chiefs regardless.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Bastard.
That is the end of our Week 10 Pick Your Poison, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys smash that like button. Be sure to hit subscribe. Be sure to check back on the channel for new content coming up. We have some new shows coming up we're going to be starting. And hope to see you guys next week. Good luck to your teams in Week 10. Bye-bye.
The Dolphins won a game!
Woo!